morning, everybody, wherever you are, however you may be listening. This is your Wednesday wrap-up. Got my man Herb in the house. What's happening, man?
I'm good. I wasn't sure if you were showing up, if you were still on your Super Bowl high. I didn't know how long not having an NFL team. I didn't know how long that lasted. I was like, Bo might be here, he might not. I have no idea.
Oh, I'm not going to miss days. That's not what I do. It's funny because there was shows the next morning. So it's not even like I went out and like celebrated in the city or anything, right? Like it was immediately like, this is awesome. And then right back to work. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah. The downside to doing this for a living, right, is
yes.
you're sort of always working. But I did get to enjoy it for that 3-hour section is being played, though.
Well, at least you got something from, man. And congrats, belated congrats again.
I appreciate it. And I guess we might as well kick it off with some coaching hires that finally happened now that that is done. Seattle addresses their Kubiak leaving issue. Zach, what's up? Ice cream for breakfast day. I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Mom in the house.
What's up, Mom?
What's up? Nick, welcome in.
So
Seattle gets their OC, and a unique hire is Brian Fleury, offensive coordinator, tight ends coach for San Francisco. A little bit of a unique hire, though, although I guess you're going to get some decent insight into the San Francisco offense because he's been there since 2019, if I recall. So it's been a while, but an interesting hire. This is not somebody I had on my radar.
Yeah. No, when that name popped up, and wasn't he also a former coaches too? But I didn't realize it'd been since 2019 he'd been there. So do you think it's more the name or where he's coming from, or a combination of both that gets him this job?
Well, I mean, I think when you look at the effectiveness of that offense and, of course, the tight end room, I mean, plus you're way late to the game, right?
Right.
I mean, you had 10 coaching staffs that were fired across the league. Everyone else has been hired up to this point. So you are sort of, caught without the chair, right? Like it's it's musical chairs and you're the last one standing. And so then you kind of get what you get. That's that I kind of see it being a little bit that way. Not to say that there isn't, that he's not going to be good, because I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't know enough about him to be encouraged, right? Like I'm not discouraged either. I just don't know enough about this particular guy.
Right. Well, and then you kind of look through there. I mean, in his lower levels, it was a defensive coordinator, but the rest of these, like assistant linebackers coach, outside linebackers coach, tight ends coach, run game coordinator, and tight ends coach. It's a decent little jump to offensive coordinator on a Super Bowl winning team. So that's and I guess I was thinking a different name for sure.
To be fair, he was on. I mean, the Niners have been in a Super Bowl during his tenure. So, I mean, he's at least been on championship caliber teams.
Right.
So
he switched back and forth a couple times. I mean, maybe that's good insight too, because he does have decent defensive coordinator things, defensive stuff. So maybe that's the insight too. It is an interesting step still to me. And like you said, a name I wasn't expecting. But then, I mean, it's a great point. It is at the end of the cycle for coaches. So you're kind of like, what's left? What do you guys still have? And they're like clearance aisle down there.
50% off. Get it.
All right. Yeah. All right.
And that is a real, question, obviously. Although he's not going to be the tight ends coach, right? Like he's an OC. So he's not necessarily going to get to spend tons of time with that particular unit. And when you look through his history, he has been all over both sides of the ball. So
for sure.
I always like seeing some of that, because if you have a guy that's been on the defensive side, it can help you on the offensive side, right?
For sure.
Because you understand how they scheme against an offense, stuff like that. So
yeah.
again, I'm not, I'm sort of indifferent either way. Like I don't know what to expect, so I don't have
Right.
any real
High
expectations.
expectations. Right, right. And you won the Super Bowl, so it's kind of like, are you coming in with a lot of pressure, or is a little pressure off because you got one? You have no idea what's going to be put on this guy's shoulder. Are you expecting a second year from Darnold like you just got? So, Minnesota bet against that and lost. So,
Yeah.
are you thinking that's going to happen again? And to the other point, you're seeing it a lot more in colleges now. They love to recruit guys who are corners but played corner and wide receiver in high school, because they're like, we know you understand both sides of the ball and what this guy might be doing and that guy. So you just kind of put it on a larger scale. The fact that he's worked with defenses a lot, I think, is certainly a bonus, because he'll understand a little bit more what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, that helped me in my playing career. Was in high school as a receiver, and then after high school, I switched to defense, and it let me know how these guys are going to run routes.
Mm-hmm.
So it is definitely something to have, kind of in the back of your mind for sure. The other one that is a little bit curious, but not the biggest shock ever, is we lose our quarterbacks coach in Andrew Janoko. He's going to be the offensive coordinator. This one wasn't a huge shock in the way of Kubiak brought him to Seattle.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Sense that he would follow Kubiak to the Raiders. That's also why I fully expect us to lose Rashid Shaheed this year. He signed a 1-year deal. He was brought there by Kubiak. So I fully expect Shaheed to end up being a Raider as well. But so this one, although a kind of a big elevation going from a quarterback's coach to a offensive coordinator, wasn't as big of a shock for me.
Right. Yeah. And then you also kind of look, and it's been, quarterbacks coach since 2021, but Vikings, Bears, Saints, Seahawks, Raiders. It's like almost every year he's been a quarterbacks coach at a different team. So interesting jump. But like you said, if your coach is bringing you along, and then there's a level of rapport there already and a level of patience. You're getting to come in and you're going to pick your quarterback, even though we all feel like we know who that is.
Yeah.
It still is. You're starting your regime here with handpicking your quarterback and getting started that way. So I don't think there's a better situation for him, for sure.
Well, and you also have the fact that Kubiak is probably going to be the guy calling the plays.
Mm-hmm.
So this type of offensive coordinator probably makes sense, because you're not getting an offensive coordinator that has his own ideas as far as what he wants to do. He's going to be following Kubiak's lead. And so the way this one is laid out makes a lot of sense. But if you were asking me before this and you threw this name out, I'd be like, yeah, I don't see that. I don't see him getting a job as an OC. But because the dominoes kind of fell in place here, it does. This one makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And then, like, of course,
said,
your brother.
No big surprise.
Yeah, your brother. Also, not a big surprise.
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill released.
Yep.
No
It's
shock.
funny. We're in a group chat, and the Falcons fan in there was like, "Oh man, you guys released him," and everyone else in the chat was like, "Yeah, we knew this was coming." 2 Dolphins fans in there, Raj and JT, you might see sometimes, we're like, "Yeah, we knew this was happening." Like, nobody shocked. He was like, "Oh yeah, like no."
Yeah,
I mean, it was inevitable. This was, it's time.
Before
We'll be more shocked when they make their final decision on Tua than anything else that's happening. But the Tyreek one, it was happening. The second, you said it. The second he got on that cart, and I think Tyreek even said it. Basically, wasn't this? If you read lips, he was going, "That was my last game for Miami."
right.
When he was on the cart. So I read lips.
Yeah. I mean, and it's funny because he, you knew he was getting released even if he didn't get hurt. Because before the season even started, he's like, "I got to do what's best for me. I'm out, bro." Like, he had so many just horrible sound bites going into the season. Yeah. And then, he's like, "Oh, no, I want to be here." It's like, yeah, you just spent the last 3 months telling us how you don't. So, and then for him to get hurt, and he was the happiest looking hurt guy I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
Yeah, you knew he was leaving.
Yeah. It's one thing, like take AJ Brown. Everybody's frustrated, with him, but they won a Super Bowl. So you get a little bit more leniency.
Yeah.
You guys weren't even sniffing it, not even a playoff win. You can't put up with a lot and not be winning. So no, Tyreek,
Exactly.
it was always happening, man. And I'm not even saying it's all his fault, but you're not helping. Not with the antics and the attitude, that's not helping. So
yeah, and Nick, you're not wrong. Like I was surprised that he didn't get traded before the season. I thought for sure with him saying all that nonsense, like if I was the Dolphins GM, I'd have been like, yeah, this guy is going to be a cancer. If we keep him, let's just go ahead and punt.
Right.
They didn't, and then he got hurt. But it's not like he was highly effective, before he got hurt either. So
for sure.
I don't know. I think I would have tried to move him when I still could have got something for him, as opposed to now where you're releasing him, you get nothing. But they also release Chubb.
To save some millions too as well. Yeah,
exactly.
That's it. You
Oh, good.
No, I'm sorry. I'm cutting across. That's my fault. No, I'm just saying it's basically rebuild time for real. I think when they were trying to figure out if they were holding on to McDaniel, they didn't know what they were doing. They went ahead and got rid of him. They said, "Look, let's just tear it down. Let's like you said, figure out what we're doing with Tua. What's the best way to do this? Move on, save some money, or however we're gonna do it." And it's reboot time. We probably have at least a couple years anyway. With New England on the way up and Buffalo maybe kind of in that, are they up or down? So we got a couple years to figure this out, maybe get back into the division race, but let's just go ahead and do it.
And of course,
are we drafting a new quarterback in the next 2 years?
Yeah. Well, and their coaching situation is interesting too. Like, I don't really know what Miami's doing. I kind of wish your brother was in the chat because I'd be like, hey, what's happening?
Yeah. Nick's a Miami fan too, though. So he might. I don't think from the text that Nick sends me, though, I don't think that he thinks Miami has a real plan either. It's like both of you guys have said. It feels like they're reacting to everything a year or two too late, versus being more proactive. And then the most proactive thing they did to maybe get another, to get some Tua backup was to get another guy that's as injury prone as Tua. Maybe not to the same extent as Tua. When he gets hurt, it's like huge. When Ewers gets hurt, it's like this, but it's still every year it's consistent.
Yeah.
So I just don't think there was much planning. But they couldn't have thought the current iteration of the team was winning a Super Bowl. So
Miami runs their organization like it's the NCAA. They just react to everything as opposed to going in with a plan.
Yeah. So, and you had every chance to take a flyer on anybody in this last draft without spending a whole lot. And there's probably not great options, but there were at least decent options. If you were going to sit to a halfway through the year or whatever, there was plenty of guys in there you could have taken a flyer on to see. And I feel like they took one of the worst choices for them. So,
well, and then at the same time, they went and got Zach Wilson. I mean, you probably should have at least tried to see what you had in him too.
Right.
Because, I mean, he was following that same path that Geno and Darnold did, get drafted by the Jets and be bad, go to a couple other spots, then, end up at that third or fourth spot and you might be good. But they never wanted to find out. As bad as the team played, they should have at least threw him out there a few times, be like, hey, can you move an NFL offense?
All right. Especially in a lost season. Do whatever you want at that point.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
I don't get it. And I don't think they get it either. I think that's the point.
Sadly, I think you're right. Oh, man. So we got, just a quick recap. The Daytona 500 ends in wild fashion. NASCAR talked about trying to change some of it back to the way it used to be when the ratings were really good. They've made it more gimmicky over the years. They turned it into a stage race, and the chase is kind of a weird thing because you only have to be good for one race during the season, and then there's the final 8 races that you have to be good on those tracks. If you want to win a championship, you have to be good on the final 8. And as opposed to just being the most consistent team all year. So they were trying to revert back to some of these things. They've missed that projection by a mile. That being said, it was a wild finish to this Daytona 500. There were 3 wrecks on the final lap. They didn't drop the yellow any point through it. They end up losing 20 cars in one of the wrecks. I mean, it was definitely one of those races that if you didn't wreck, you had a shot.
Yes. There's a combination of being lucky and being good when it comes down to this, like especially when your leader leads 1 lap and that's the final lap, or your winner. Excuse me. Yes. They're like, which lap do you want? I'll just wait till then. I'm good. You just gonna hang back? Yeah, I'm just gonna hang back. Raj, I ain't gonna lie, I was worried. I was about to pick up the phone and start calling in the middle of the show. So,
I mean, we already had to talk about Miami. We're just like, he's not showing up. Or maybe that's why you're late. You tune in for a second, you're like, nah, I ain't going to that.
No, I don't need this. I'm good.
Nobody wants that negativity first thing.
Ross, I'm not ready to think about the Dolphins. But no. I mean, you're right. If you're going to lead one and if you're going to avoid all the trouble, the last lap is the best one to do it. So, and I was reading through all the comments and you could just kind of tell. I mean, one of these, I want to say it's NBC Sports, has an article where they had every driver's comments and you could just see some of them. Like one of them just flat out said, I mean, I don't know, it wasn't my fault. I was like, okay. You know what I mean? But
when it comes to being on the track, like you can be driving along and then all of a sudden you are not facing forward anymore. You had nothing to do with it.
Yes. And you're probably back looking at the replay. So who hit me exactly? How do we track back the trouble to where this person started this whole thing? So
no, I remember a race here at Evergreen Speedway. I was coming through the first corner and this guy hooked me and I was on my line. He just ducked inside to the inside of the corner and just spun me through the middle. So I do this loop and I only ended up losing 1 spot, but because I didn't actually wreck, I just spun. But but yeah, I mean, I was holding my line. I was just like, whoop, and now I'm backwards. Like, I don't know.
See, like that would be the most frustrating to me, I think, not seeing it coming, thinking you're doing fine, thinking about your next bit of strategy. And then, like you said, you're facing the wrong direction and going, who are these people? Like, what? I just passed, so that's wild. But hey,
I was setting up for my next corner and it was like, well, I'm still turning. So, and you did miss the Tyreek discussion. It was pretty short. It was a shock to nobody.
We mentioned you being in that group, that Raj, where you were like, yeah, we're not shocked. Raj was the first one to respond. Yeah, we're not shocked. So,
no, I mean, I was surprised they waited the whole year. But then, also cool thing about Daytona there is Michael Jordan, team owner, gets to celebrate a Daytona win. So that was pretty cool.
I didn't even realize he was in ownership over there, to be honest.
Yeah, he's an owner. Their group has 4 cars. They had 4 cars in the race there, and the guy that won, he obviously the only lap that he led was the final lap, but
Tyler Reddick,
but he was around, right? Yeah. So you weren't talking about him a lot, but he was a top 10 car most of the day. Like he was in the realm of striking distance, but was never really one of those first couple of cars. But hey, when the cars are just peeling away like banana, sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah. And that's why I said and that's why I didn't say it was just pure luck. And that's, for sure a combination of skill and luck, because you have to put yourself in a position to take advantage of the chaos that came at the end there. So absolutely, for sure he hung around. And then I don't care what anybody says. If I win the Daytona 500, you couldn't take anything away from me. I'm like, yes, cheering, this is it, screaming, whatever. Oh, you got lucky on the last round. Yeah, well, talk to my ring. Like I do not care. A championship is a championship.
That's the thing, right? Like it's one of the hallmark races in any type of racing. Like there is nobody that is a race fan that doesn't know what Daytona is, right? I did always find it funny that it's the race that kicks the season off. The most important race of the year is race one. That always seemed kind of weird, but at the same time, it's the history of it and all of that, right? So,
the motto is we only go downhill from here. No,
pretty much. Yeah. So, but anyway, pretty cool for Jordan. Obviously, then people had to make a big deal about him, having fun with the driver's kid and, people spinning things into what it's not. It looked like he was just playing with the kid and the media clearly didn't have a lot going on that day to spin it into something that, is nothing.
Yeah. So without getting too political, I just feel like that's what we do a lot. Let's latch on to any other story so we can kind of ignore, the real stuff. And we just got off of Bad Bunny, so let's just get on to the next thing. But look, his dad didn't come out and say anything, and that's who I would be like. If his dad had an issue, then okay, I'm with you. If there's no other comment except from people who are slow-mo watching a video, then I'm good. Like, let them celebrate their victories and everybody can move on.
Yeah, no, it seemed dumb. Yeah, that's all the time we're going to spend on that because it's just an idiotic storyline, but has to be addressed because this is a recap show. Also, some gimmicky stuff. We have Ronda Rousey coming out of retirement for what, let's be honest, is a gimmicky fight, right?
Yeah.
She's been out of the sport a long time. This was a matchup that everybody wanted to see when they were both actually fighting. So I guess the part that's surprising to me about this isn't so much that they're coming out of retirement to have this fight, right? Tons of people do that. I think it's the fact that the UFC, which has been as gimmicky as it gets as of late, because their sport is kind of suffering. I mean, they got the White House fight coming and like they're doing gimmicky stuff. And for some reason they didn't take on this project. So this ends up being on Netflix. Seemed odd the UFC didn't want to embrace this one with the kind of nonsense fights that they've had over the last couple of years.
Right. Yeah. It definitely seems right up their alley for sure. My first thought, because I remember I said this off air, I'm like, I'm waiting to hold my thoughts. Yeah. I thought this was like a joke post or something. I saw it on Twitter and I went, no, really? And like, I'm having to look up, like, Gina Carano hasn't fought since 2009.
Neither one of them. Like, it's been forever.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen them. You can probably mention their last movie, right off the top of your head before you can mention what their last fight was. That's how long it's been. Ronda Rousey went to WWE for a little bit, and Gina Carano, before she got fired from the Mandalorian stuff. But other than that, like, I'm having to look up what you have done since then to keep in any kind of shape. And like, look, people are going to tune in. They know what they're doing. Like you said, it's gimmicking. But as far as expecting a great fight, no, probably not. There'll be a lot of promos for this. A lot will be a lead up. We'll put them both on there a lot. Both charismatic people and both, huge stars in their time. But this is like a decade too late for this fight. They were trying to do this back in 2014.
That is the issue, right? This is so late to the game. Like, if they were both in their prime, everybody's watching this fight. And you're going to watch it anyway, right? Because it's on Netflix. Most people have Netflix. So, I mean, it's not like it's a pay-per-view thing. But at the same time, you're expecting a bad fight. The only real winners in this is all your prelims. All your prelim fighters are going to get as much screen time as possible because people are going to tune into this.
Yes.
But then the fight's going to happen. You're going to be like, I probably didn't need to see this.
Yes. And this is like the very definition of a cash grab. Because what are you expecting from either one of them, at this point? And that's like, no disrespect to them. We would have said the same thing, cross any lines if it was two aging guys out there fighting. We don't care. This just seems odd. I don't even know what Ronda Rousey's been doing forever, since the WWE stuff. So how they even thought of her name, but it was the pitch actually, hey, remember back in 2014 where we tried to get this fight? Now's the perfect time. And she was like, okay, great. I don't know. But no, you hit it on the head. I'm going to watch this because I already have Netflix. I don't have to jump through any extra hoops. Like, it won't be prime viewing. There's a basketball game on or something else on. I'll watch my other stuff and it'll be over there until that comes up. But I'm going to watch this fight.
See,
so they got me already.
And I'll definitely watch this. I forget it's the 14th, right? April 14th. It's something like that. I'd have to look it up again. I forget the date exactly, but
yeah. Oh no.
Sorry, May 16th.
May 16th. Oh, so never mind. You're even further out. So
yeah, so you're further
either out. NBA playoffs or nothing, huh?
Well, so the good thing about it is there's some weird backstory to it. Is one of the first kind of pseudo dates that I had with my wife was going to a sports bar and watching a Ronda Rousey fight. So I think it would be kind of fun to, maybe watch this one at that sports bar, just because it would be, some nostalgia there.
They got you, Bo. They got you. Huh?
Hey,
wait. Breaking news. Did they pick this date because of you, Bo? Be honest.
100%. The date doesn't coincide with anything, but
true. The date doesn't, but yeah, the event does. Yes, yep.
Yeah. So it, I don't know, like for nostalgia reasons, I think it'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like need some cash. Yeah. Rewatching every second of this fight. I mean, it's probably not going to last that long.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think we're getting, like, every second might be it. I could see both ladies gassed after, a minute and a half. That's an intense sport for sure. Very physical, very quickly, but like I would know. I mean, look at this physique, but I can't imagine not, like I said, Corona hasn't done anything since 2009. The shape that you keep in by not doing it is just not the same as the shape you're in when you're actually competitive.
For sure.
I'm sorry.
Honestly, getting gassed probably favors Rousey though, because her best thing was arm bars and grappling.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if she was standing up in boxing, that's how she lost, right? She got some kickboxing to the face that didn't work out so well.
Ooh, yeah.
But, if this ends up being they're tired and grappling, then Rousey probably does have the edge there.
I guess Rousey was last in 2016. Yeah.
We're still a decade ago.
Yes. I mean, this is, and like I said, I never fault the ladies. Who was the exec sitting somewhere that thought of these two names and said, let's throw this fight together?
Oh, so
but they're working, right?
The promotion is Jake Paul. So this is not a surprise.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go.
Yeah.
This seemed like that just like makes everything clear. Oh, Jake Paul's put this.
Hey, that's why I was holding it till the end, because I figured you'd have a lot of questions and then I could just drop one name and be like,
Yes, cleared up all the questions.
The epiphany.
Second question? No, I'm good. I'm good. Jake Paul makes perfect sense.
That does get us to the halfway point where we got to say goodbye to our radio audience. If you're listening on 97.3 ICU Radio, we will see you all next week. Otherwise, you can stick around for the second half of the show. We do have a surprise for our ICU Radio participants. You may be getting a daily show from us starting in March. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, we'll see you next Wednesday. All right. Let's see. So, got to get into some NBA just because there's just weird stuff about the NBA. One, the All-Star game being a weird three-headed round robin for a championship was strange. It was a little bit better than their 400+ point ridiculousness of last year, but it still wasn't that entertaining. And they still weren't trying very hard.
I'll disagree on that one. In the round robin, they were intense. Nobody because and Anthony Edwards even came out and said it. Like Wemby wanted to win.
So that's the thing. There were a couple of guys that wanted to win, but the teams didn't seem to care.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was entertaining to me. The round robin part was entertaining to me because especially at the end, if you watched, I mean, kind of like any other game, if I watched last 2 or 3 minutes, all of a sudden these guys were like, we could get eliminated. The Ants sending the game to overtime in the first one was fun. You have to they played a 5, which is one of the goofiest things I've ever heard in overtime. But you know, one team hits a 2, the other team hits a 3. So the team now with the ball is like, if we just score, they're gonna win. So they were playing for a 3. The other team is supposed to be guarding against a 3. One bad defensive rotation. They hit the 3 to win. And Wemby is just like, what the heck? So that part was fun. Roger's right. The old guys, not surprisingly, in the last game were like,
they were toast.
Yeah, I mean, nothing.
Kyrie had a game in the second one though. Like he almost couldn't. Kyrie Irving, he almost couldn't miss a shot in that second game.
No, Kyrie wasn't in this one. So you talking about Kawhi Leonard? That's what.
Oh, sorry, Kawhi. Yeah, Kawhi.
Like, wait.
No, Kawhi is what I meant. He almost couldn't miss a shot in that second game.
Yes.
I mean, he was nailing. I think he had 3/4 of the points of that team.
Yes, because he was 31 and they had like 48, some crap like that. So no, exactly right. Yeah.
But and then you come to the championship game and he couldn't buy a bucket.
It was so bad. It was so bad. So you are right on the part that like there were still nobody's out there to get hurt, but I think what it took was maybe 1 or 2 guys from each team to put in more effort than anything else that they had done. So it still loads better than the regular All-Star game, which is setting a low bar. But can they continue this? I don't know.
And that's why I say, it still wasn't great, but it was better than that 400 point, horrible thing to watch a year ago. KD did get asked about the lack of complete team effort, though.
Mm-hmm. The Europeans and the world team, they won't compete. Because when you look at Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic now, let's go back and look at what they do at the All-Star game. Is that competition? So we haven't questioned what they've been doing, but we're going to question old heads and the Americans. But these 2 dudes out there, Luka and Jokic, they don't care about the game at all. These dudes be laying on the floor, they shoot from half court, but you got to worry about the old heads playing hard. I can read between the lines, bro.
I mean, that's probably the biggest thing, is you could see that there was about 3 players that wanted to win.
Right.
And then the rest of the guys were like, they were there.
Yeah. Well, I could almost name them. Ant, Wemby, Kawhi, because he was a late addition and it was, in his hometown, whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the rest of them didn't want to necessarily lose, but they're also, and here's the problem. What's the winners got to think 50,000 or 100,000 like that, something like that. Most of your guys in there are in the max range. So if I'm making 50 million and the difference between 50,000, for loss, 100 for a win, I'm possibly sprained ankle, I missed the season. I'm like, I'm good, and especially the old heads, they're like, look, I don't give that much effort anymore for a regular game. I certainly can't muster it up for a weekend where I could be off. So I do still think it was better. And All-Star weekend kind of as a whole was a little bit of a disaster. And especially with the time changes that most of us didn't even realize had happened. So,
and then the dunk contest was the weakest dunk contest I think I've ever seen.
That's what I mean. I'm putting that as part of the thing. And the thing that people watch the most now, the 3-point contest, I got an alert to tell me it was done. So I was like, oh, what happened to Saturday night? Yep. So then I tune in to see the dunk contest because I've already missed the 3-point. I'm like, oh, I could have missed this. Don't know who these guys are. These dunks are terrible. So
the opening one was literally just a dunk, like that you'd see in any game. It was just like run up and like ding, and you're like, okay, okay, I guess, cool.
Yeah. Rod, same thing. A guy who's out for the season won the 3-point contest. That had to be one of the weirdest things.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, it's strange.
Yeah. And Nick, my point on that is that I don't think most of us knew that there was a time change for it. We're used to Saturday night stuff. So I was expecting we would be like checking it out during our show. So I didn't even know the 3-point contest had happened until I got an alert. So, and I went and saw enough posts to where there's a lot of people like me who are just casuals who are like, when did y'all change this? So, we expect it if you're overseas.
And that's the thing that's funny. I mean, that's what hurt the Pro Bowl so bad too. They're like, hey, we're just going to hide this on a Tuesday night.
Right.
You're just like, oh, cool. Like nobody's going to know that.
Right.
So
I got a text to remind me. I knew it and then immediately forgot it. And then like Nick was actually the one to text me, you watch it tonight. I was like, it made the multi-view.
Didn't even make it for me. Yeah.
They lost them.
Couldn't do it. I just I clicked through to see if there was any highlights worth talking about, and it was like, nope. So
I think we're just gonna have to live with maybe baseball and I guess hockey. I never really watch it, but as the all-star games that get it right, and we'll never have to change. Even though baseball has tinkered with it, I guess.
Yeah, hockey has changed theirs because they do their Four Nations tournament now.
Oh yeah.
So they got rid of their all-star game because it was also not really doing well because guys were not trying as hard, right? It's hard to not try when you're talking about baseball because you have to play defense, right? Yeah. Like you can't just let everybody hit in the park home runs. So I mean, you're just obligated to play defense when it comes to baseball.
Yeah.
But the rest of these guys, not really. And so the Four Nations tournament now gives you something else to play for. The death of the Pro Bowl and really the All-Star game is these guys make too much money. And the prize for winning the All-Star games didn't follow that same pay scale. So now, when you're talking 30 years ago, the Pro Bowl, you made $50K to win, where you're 30 years later and you're making 90. Like that doesn't, that didn't follow the way the rest of the pay went. So it used to be like a significant bump to your salary. And now it's like, yeah, that might cover some taxes, I guess, Yeah.
Well, and I had to look this up to see it's like the in-season tournament. The reason why some of those guys try harder there, your winning team gets 500,000.
Yeah.
So that's, especially for the guys on the end of the bench, that's a little bit more significant. But yeah, if you're talking 50,000 just for showing up at maybe 100K for winning, which they're going to chop down, you're like, made 50 mil this year just for my basketball salary, not counting my endorsements. Like, I can go make a commercial tomorrow and cover that. Like I'm good,
Well, and having guys not necessarily try super hard also makes some sense, I guess, because it is the middle of the season. I've never understood why these sports want to have their all-star in the middle of the season, because think of how many times you've seen somebody get off to a hot start. They're on an all-star team and then they're terrible the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So it seems like your all-star game should be whoever was the best all year, not the best first half.
Right. Because you're right about that. That's definitely happened. You can also tell. So there was a couple guys who were padding some stats, like just to get that all-star nod. That was like a thing for them. And then I did it. My team sucks for the second half anyway, so it really didn't matter. So
well,
he was a good first half all-star.
If your team's gonna lose anyway, then you probably do kind of pad some stats so you can get in, be like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to hit any other bonuses. Let's go ahead and get this. Let's go ahead and get this 50+K. I mean, I get that.
Yeah,
I'm motivated by money, so I understand.
Yes. For sure. I take back all objections. That is actually a good point.
We do have Adam Silver talking about a couple of different things, and the first one is about teams tanking. They want to try and limit how teams are doing that. Not that this is something new, but I think where the pressure is coming from now is sports gambling.
For sure.
I think sports gambling is requiring these teams or these organizations to try and police the teams from doing this as much, because now it's affecting point spreads and stuff like that. And since the number one, sponsors of all these leagues are DraftKings and BetMGM and all these sports books, that it's not to benefit the fans who have to watch that garbage. It is 100%. It's like, oh, well, this is affecting our main sponsor, so we should probably talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. Because I get and I think Cuban came out and said this. The thing with tanking is it is for the long-term health of your organization. You see a lot of these teams who are still try hard and make like the Bulls and make the play-in tournament every year. Yep. You have no long-term plan. You're not helping. We go back and look at the Mavericks, who at the end, the year before they made the championship, it's like 2 or 3 games left in the season. If they win 1 or 2, they move up a spot. Maybe they make the play-in, but they lose their draft pick. Tank the last 2 games. They miss. They get their draft pick. I think they got Lively, or I know they got a center, and they make the championship game the next year. So it's like, I get what they're trying to say, and yeah, does it suck for the fans? But if you're a fan of that organization, and I told you, hey, we can either have a lottery pick or be the 10 seed and get knocked out first game in the playoffs, your long-term health goes with the tanking. So do you want us to be crappy right now and have 1 extra game, or do you want us to maybe be better in the future? So why, and if I'm an organization and I'm like, I can get a top 5 draft pick and pay $100,000 in fines, I'm paying the $100,000 in fines. I don't care.
No question. No question. I mean,
what I mean?
You do have the other weirdness when it comes to the NBA is they have their draft lottery. So you end up with the worst team in the league that somehow loses the number 1 draft pick every year. Right? It's just like, you are the worst. You would really benefit from having the number 1 pick, and instead they're like, oh, the Spurs got it again. It's like, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you got some questions, right? And
there you do.
The rest of us, we're all like, well, I mean, you're kind of not wrong. Like,
yeah, no.
Are those
so every time a generational talent comes around, the Spurs are bad that 1 year. They're like, yeah, okay. You guys are only going to be bad 1 year. We'll give it to you. So
they weren't even bad enough to be like a legitimate first pick overall.
Oh yeah,
for
sure.
They're like 8th or 10th, and they're like, oh, but you won, and you're like, what?
Yes.
This other team's been the worst team for 5 straight years, and the best you can do is the 5th pick. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. You know what it is, though? Sometimes that team that was the worst and kept getting all those high picks kept squandering them. So we're like, we're giving somebody else a chance. You've had 3 top 5 picks and been bad still.
Yeah, but when you think of the NBA draft, it's not like, or baseball too, right? Is your first couple of picks are kind of it, right? And then everybody else is probably going to be G League or, in baseball, it'll be AAA, right? Like, you got a couple of guys that can come in and play immediately. And then everybody else is a project. It's not like the NFL where, you got 3 rounds of guys that are probably going to start.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, let me get the first pick right, the 3rd pick right, and the 15th pick. It's
exactly.
Because you've had several guys come out of that mid, but the rest of them, and I think there's less development going on these days. You have, and they made the rule you got to go 1 year to college, but half those guys are, they're getting recruited somewhere. They're going that 1 year. They're jumping straight to the NBA. And we've said this all across pro sports. Pro sports are not developing rookies. They're getting them and hoping that they're more ready than they are at times. But what does every rookie tell you going to the bigger league? The game speeds up a lot more. The guy that was a scrub on the bench is gone. Now, the scrub on the end of an NBA bench was still an All-American in college. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's super slow, but he will body the crap out of you if you haven't put on any weight. You know what I mean? Yep. The next thing you know, you're in the front row and he's dunking and jogging back. So, yeah, it's changed. It's changed a lot. Well, I just don't think guys are as ready for the NBA as they used to be.
No, well, I mean, college has become pro sports. So you're not rewarded by developing talent anymore either. Right. As soon as you have a bad year, because of the way that NIL and everything is, you're like, oh man, we had a downturn, probably getting fired.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, this will be a little bit out of order, but K-State did exactly that.
Harrison, these dudes do not deserve to wear this uniform. There will be very few of them in it next year. I'm embarrassed for the university. I'm embarrassed for our fans, our student section. It is just ridiculous. We got practice at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. This was embarrassing.
I mean, now you probably don't want to have a rant on national television.
Right.
At the same time, he wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
Like there was not inspired play. And now he gets fired. But there's been this sentiment expressed all across college basketball, men's and women's.
Yeah,
where it's like
for sure.
The team had no heart, or they weren't trying, or I mean, there's been a bunch of it this season. And that's really indicative of the fact that everybody can transfer all the time. Everybody's playing for their jobs. Players are just playing for NIL. Like nobody's playing because they love the game anymore. So and you can see it in the effort.
Yeah. Players used to love the game, but they also used to love the school that they were at. And now it's purely changed to, hey man, we're halfway through the season. I know we're not winning a title. I'm scouting my next school already because I know I'm not good enough to make the NBA. So I have checked out. And as a coach, what are you supposed to do at that point? But you recruited that guy based on money, and there's certain spots where people are going where absolutely you guys are not winning a championship. So if you're just, hey, this is a highest bidder kind of thing, I mean, that's kind of what comes out on the other end. So I feel for coaches these days. I have no idea. Like you're yelling at a guy in game 20 and he's, on his phone. Like, what school is going to have an opening for my position next year? What kind of bidding war? Like, hey, when can I enter the portal? How do you motivate somebody like that? That's like, I will leave tomorrow if you yell at me one more time. So
that's the thing, is a lot of these guys don't even accept coaching anymore. So how are you going to get better?
Yeah. Well, you were a junior, you were in grade school, whatever, and everybody was telling you the greatest. You went all through high school with people just pumping up your ego. And then all of a sudden, we're a freshman somewhere. This guy yelled at you, you transferred. Now you're a sophomore somewhere and they paid you big money to be there. And this guy's yelling. You're like, everyone else has already told me I'm the greatest. So either tell me I'm the greatest or I'm leaving. And that's most of these guys now is like, I don't want to be coached hard. I just want to make my money and go. And they'll find out like 5 years from now when they've spent the money and they had no career ahead of them. But in this exact moment, most people are playing for the here and now. I just want to make my money this exact second. I'll worry about tomorrow.
See, and it's just a mindset that I can't really wrap my head around because I might be mildly competitive. So I like to win.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, I mean, a good example of this, I was starting to, it was the first day driving an SCCA race car. Right. And so you have to go through different things to get your license. And so we had to put a passenger seat in this car. And, so we hit the track. The guy that's going to be evaluating me throughout the day jumps in. I'm like, hey, this is going to be a fun day. Mind you, this is raining also. But I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be both of our first time in this car. I'd never driven this car before, and we're doing it for real with an instructor. This is going to be good times. So we're going along, and the first practice session was good. And then the beginning of the second one, I catch a rumble strip on the inside tire, turn 3, climbing this hill, and upsets the car, spins it, sideways. And so I just drift this thing and grab a gear and jump in the next corner. It was fine. He didn't even say anything. He just gave me this thumbs up. Doesn't look right? So we get done with that session, and he's like, okay, clearly you can drive. Like, I don't need to be with you. And the first thing I said was like, no, you're going to be with me every session today. He's like, why is that? I was like, because every entry and exit to every corner. I don't want to figure them out. I want you to tell me how to win on this track. Right. Like, I don't get why guys aren't actively pursuing coaching. Like, you don't know everything. In fact, you don't even know what you don't know. So go get the guy that is either an expert on that track, expert with the kind of car you're driving, or at the position you're trying to play, or anything like that. Like, there's coaches for a reason. So accept the coaching, get better.
Yes. Yeah. And I think the guys that accept coaching are the guys that want to be at that best level. I think it's kind of like the lesser level guys who, oh, I think I've got a shot at the NBA one day, but I don't want anybody to tell me how to get there. Those are the guys that crash and burn. I think if you're truly champ, you realize, okay, I mean, take a look at one of the best. Kobe took stuff from everybody he ran across. I'm going to take from this guy's move. I'm going to take this guy. This coach says, like, I'm going to take from everybody because I want to be the best. So you take knowledge from the people that went before you in it, and then you have to have some kind of competitive desire. Like you said, like when we go to family gatherings, I'm the one that's, hey, calm down on this one. Okay. Like, hey, you can let a few things slide. And I'm just like, I'm either on or off. If you tell me like this is a game, I'm on. I'm trying to win it. If you tell me like I can't try, then I'm like, I just don't even want to play. I mean, it's just, I want to win when it's time to win. So I get it. But I always took coaching too, even if it was tough. I might not react the best at first, but I was like, I'm going to take everything you say and I'm going to get better at it because I'm not getting fussed at for this thing again. So.
Yeah. I mean, even doing this, right? Like I had an idea of things that I wanted to do. And then you watch other people's shows or you watch like late night talk shows, stuff like that. When I interview a guest today, it's wildly different than when I started. Just because I like the way that Jimmy Fallon introduces guests, and it changed the cadence of how I introduce people. And it's because I'm always looking to get better. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I have all the answers. I'm pretty sure if I go back and watch stuff I started with and be like, man, that's for sure. Is terrible.
For sure. We used to reach out like, hey, have you seen this? Hey, can you help us with this? Why not want to be better? Because I think like both of us sitting there thinking, I just want to be the best at this, period. I want people to flocking to the shows and be like, oh, that was amazing. So take what you can from anybody. So
the guy that's not going to get that kind of fanfare, though, is still Adam Silver, if you are a Seattle fan. And we have a timeline of the expansion talks. We knew that it was going to be for the 27 moving forward because of the TV contract. But this is this makes it sound very this sounds like Adam Silver still doesn't want a team in Seattle.
Vinny, in terms of the timeline, and I think I said at the end of last year when we were in Las Vegas that we will make decisions in 2026. I think in fairness to the cities, Seattle and Las Vegas in particular, I've been very clear. I don't want to tease teams. I don't want to tease cities or mislead anyone. I think we wanted to get through collective bargaining, national television deals. We've done that, and now we've turned to it as a league. My sense is at the March Board of Governors meetings, we'll be having further discussions around an expansion process. We won't be voting at the March meeting, but we will likely come out of those meetings ready, prepared to take a next step in terms of potentially talking to interested parties. No, it doesn't have to be a two-team expansion. Frankly, doesn't have to be any number of teams. I think the logical next move would be to say, all right, we've had those discussions internally. We've made decisions about cities to focus on and what the opportunity is. And now we got to go out into the marketplace. And I think that's probably the most important step to find out who is potentially interested in owning a franchise in particular cities. What's the value of that franchise? There's some work to do in terms of potential conference realignment. So that's the next step there.
I thought he was filibustering for a minute there. Like,
I'm right. Like,
are you going to stop at some point? Like, what are you?
I mean, that makes it sound like the locations that were kind of thought as front runners might not be.
Yeah. Well, I don't see them avoiding Vegas at this point, just because, which is funny to me. Hey, we have gambling issues. We want guys to stop this. There's federal investigations, but let's put a team in Vegas. Never makes any sense. But
I'm with you.
Seattle, I just don't get how Seattle's not the first choice. If you're like, first off, I'm against expansion anyway. The product's already getting watered down. You're already having trouble with getting everybody to play, and now we're going to add a couple more teams. So we're going to take a little bit from a couple of good teams and put a team over there. You already don't have enough talent to fill the league now.
Yep.
And so what are we gonna have one team full of G leaguers that are competing? I don't get that. But if you're going to expand, Seattle has to get a team back. Like, I don't even see how this is negotiable.
And I agree with you, not just because I'm a Seattle guy, but I mean, it doesn't make sense. The history was here. Like, it doesn't make sense not to have them as your expansion. It really honestly hasn't made sense for them to not have a team thus far. But David Stern was not a fan of Seattle, and Adam Silver was his little stooge, right? Like, he kind of was right in line with whatever David Stern liked. So it made sense that he was anti-Seattle also. Every time Seattle comes up, you can see he really doesn't want to be the guy that's in power when Seattle gets a team back. Right. So
why is that though? What's the deal against Seattle?
I have no idea.
That is wild. Because
we've even rebuilt the stadium that they're supposed to be moving into. If we get a team, like, we've done everything we're supposed to do to get a basketball team. It just happens to be that the commissioner, the previous and the current, are just not a fan of Seattle.
That is so weird. If you went back in time and I'm watching, Gary Payton and Detlef Schrempf and Sean Kemp, and you told me, hey, one day this team will be in Oklahoma, I'd been like, where? Like, are you joking? And it tells me something that, the stadium burns down and that's the closest place to go. I'm lost, And just think of the stories, Vancouver moves to Memphis and nobody ever says Vancouver should get another team. But Seattle, it's been clamoring for years. That was a staple team, like, in our childhood. I don't understand this, at all. So it doesn't make sense. But they're definitely going to go for Vegas. They want that Vegas money. But there's a huge scandal 5 years after they're there. Like, we'll enjoy it on the show because we'll be talking about it. But, like, don't act surprised when it happens, because all you're doing
5 years. I think you meant 5 minutes. Like, you're supposed to be unpacking the truck.
Yes.
Sticking with basketball for one more second, WNBA still worlds apart when it comes to the CBA agreement. We are arriving quickly on what should be the start of the season. So April 29th is the first home game for the Storm, provided there is a team to put on the floor. It sounds like the numbers from the WNBA have given some concessions. The WNBA itself says it's not enough. It still sounds like they are really far apart as far as getting anything done. And that doesn't say good things as far as having a product to put on the floor. Really, 7 weeks away. So, we're facing a strike there. MLB probably has one in 27. So pretty crazy. That being said, wrap the show up to get out of here on time. We got to talk a little bit about the Olympics because they are happening. But the funniest storyline is Canada cheating at curling by double tapping the stone. And rather than just doing the standard Canadian sorry, they were telling the other team to F off. And instantly, the men's and the women's both did it in consecutive days, which is hilarious. And then the video, because, they're saying I didn't do it. And I guess they're forgetting that there are like 30 HD cameras trained on everything all the time.
We got you in 4K, baby.
You can see the finger go out and tap the stone again. Like, you're just like, dude.
Yes. They're like, look, we invented this sport. All right, we'll do what we want.
Yeah, that's right.
I like that explanation the best.
And then I
support you.
One other note from Italy is there has been some suspected sabotage of their high-speed trains. And if you are traveling to events on any of the three trains, looks like there was deliberate burning of cables for these. Yeah. And so basically they put out a statement saying, be aware of your surroundings, exercise caution while traveling, leave extra time, and if something happens, get away from the train. So, which makes me think this is some old-timey 1800s train robbery, which is in some ways hilarious.
Yes. We needed an extra story, so that's what they came up with.
Absolutely. That being said, that does get us to the top of the show. We appreciate everybody watching, and we will see you all next week. Have a great one, everybody.